have seen showers. They're continuing to move on. Additional activity may develop. More widely scattered tonight, but increasing tomorrow as well as Friday. Overnight tonight, we're going to be under some clouds. Rain chance starting up at 30% tonight. We'll have a chance of showers around 2 each day, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday too. Then finally, a front will make it through to cool us down and dries out for Sunday. 60s tonight, 30% or so for a thunderstorm. Then I go upwards to 60% for tomorrow and about 70% on Friday. Tomorrow warming back into the upper 70s, and it's about lower 70s as things get a little cooler as we go into the weekend. The annual Meat Oyster Festival with a full weekend of family fun and live entertainment, including Will Vance and the Kinfolk, Category 6, Domino's, Chase Tyler. There'll be a parade Saturday, 10 a.m., a car show, carnival rides, arts and crafts, and, of course, Louisiana oysters. Click ameatoysterfestival.com. Ralph Sanji, WGSO.
Ladies and gentlemen, the last president of the United States of America.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Battle of New Orleans Radio. I'm Nathan Lawrence, and along with
Danny Hamilton.
That's what's up, Danny. I'm glad to have you back in the studio this week. We have Caleb Hitt on Skype in Ohio. We also have our other co-host, Goyim, that's on hold as well. I mean, it's a beautiful Wednesday here in the Crescent City. I say beautiful. It's starting to be overcasty. It's just a great day to be alive, though. So I love every day. And I love every day that, we're able to come into the studio and try to, expose some of the truths that are hidden from, the general public.
Yeah, I want to talk about some recent events, the floodings and everything.
Yeah,
we're reaching out to the recent flood victims, but one thing I want to talk about is all these state workers everywhere. All the National Guard. It's just yes, the event. There's a few victims, but not as broad as the Weather Channel has promoted it. And it's just like. It just gives the opportunity to go emergency state fund and just have every piece of equipment out there. And, I feel sorry for the victims. That's we putting things together to help them. But just on the state money, just used.
Hey, real quick, Danny, before we get anything, go ahead and tell everybody about some of the, the help, concerned citizens. And
yeah, there's a group, Concerned Citizens of St. Tammany. We're, collecting, donations, household items to help the recent flood victims. We have a distribution center in Slidell, 4466 Pontchartrain. That is the North Shore Mini Storage, or Century 21 in Mandeville, and we're collecting donations for the recent victims, and we're reaching out, as people helping people. We don't need all your state funding, and we'll help our own people.
That's right. The community will step up and stand up and take care of ourselves. We don't need any more funds, and the tentacles coming down from this overreaching.
No more FEMA money or none of that. We don't need that.
Yeah, we got bought out, man. We got sold out after Katrina.
Sold out after Katrina.
That's right. All these leaders accepting all this federal money, this FEMA money, it's all tied into these Agenda 21 style programs that they basically usurped all of the local governments with this money, and these local leaders just, I want money in my district.
Yeah, that's what they all want, where they can make extra money for their district, so that look what I did for my, it's hurting us in the long run.
Not realizing they just built a United Nations playground on there.
Exactly. We see what happened at Slidell. Look at Slidell now. It's controlled by corporations everywhere. You got corporation headquarters, all these corporations moving in since we got all this government funding.
Yeah, that's right. It's crazy. It's crazy we're bringing up this topic, Danny, because we have a guest online. We're going to bring him on in a second. And we're going to be talking about some of these corporate control and some of these other control mechanisms. So it's pretty fitting. But before we bring our guest on, I want to talk about something real fast. Why it's been on my mind. Was it last week, or maybe it was early this week, they approved genetically modified, genetically engineered mosquitoes to be released in the Keys. I believe it was for 22 weeks, 3 times a week. So to me, that is insane because we have people like Francis Boyle, who is over the bio-terrorism acts. He wrote this for the governments. He wrote this, I think, for the United Nations as well. I actually have been in email contact with him, and he's been saying that these genetically engineered mosquitoes that were released in Brazil in 2012 by this British biotech firm has actually helped spread a lot of these diseases and the Zika virus in Brazil. So here we go. We're going to release genetically engineered mosquitoes, 3 times a week for 22 straight weeks. To me, that is just crazy. It's insane. But, the people that really pull the strings and run everything, Danny, what are they? We all know they're what? Insane, right?
Yes, they are.
That's right. Well, look, let's not waste our guest time. Let's bring him on. We have Mr. Patrick Wood on Skype with us. He is the author of a great book that I just received a couple of days ago and started reading. It's called Technocracy Rising, the Trojan Horse of Global Transformation. Patrick Wood is an author and lecturer who has studied elite globalization policy since the late 1970s, when he partnered with the late Anthony C. Sutton to co-author Trilaterals over Washington, Volumes 1 and 2. He remains a leading expert in the elitist Trilateral Commission, their policies and achievements in creating their self-proclaimed new international economic order. An economist by education, a financial analyst and writer by profession, and an American constitutionalist by choice. Patrick Wood, are you there?
I certainly am. Thank you guys for having me on today.
Man, we surely appreciate you being on with us. Patrick, Danny here was talking about, some of the corporate controls that are just happening in our own little town. And, I just kind of find that kind of fitting because that's kind of a piece, in my studies that I found that's part of technocracy.
Well, it is. And, everybody I think is pretty generally upset, angry. They know something's wrong. I think the political process and the dysfunction that we see today is an expression of that. They don't know what to strike out against, but they know they need to strike out at something because they're getting squeezed. And their pocketbook is hurting, and their society is hurting, and jobs are hurting, and, we're not getting any redress from our politicians, and people are really upset, but they don't really understand the bigger picture. Well, I'd like to correct that. I'd like to tell people that what's really going on is there's an economic coup that's happening in the world right as we speak now, where capitalism and free enterprise have been put on the slate for complete replacement with a new economic system that the world has never tried before, that's never been tried even in a microcosm, and it's called technocracy. It's also known by some other names, like sustainable development, for instance,
Agenda
green
21.
economy. You probably have heard those terms. But that's what it is. It's technocracy that was invented in the 1930s, believe it or not, way back then. It was very carefully defined by very prominent scientists and engineers in 1932, 1933, 1934. And they thought capitalism was dead, and those scientists and engineers thought that they and they alone could rescue the world by creating this new economic system that would be based on energy instead of supply and demand. It's radical, guys. That's all I can say. It's totally radical. It's sweeping the world. The United Nations is pushing this now, thanks to other organizations pushing it to them. But it's being pushed all over the world, and nobody's really crosshaired it correctly yet. I think when, at least so far my experience has been, when people see what's going on, first their jaw drops, and then they get mad, and then they take action. So I'm hoping enough people might get in that mode before we're done with this, that they'll see what's going on.
Which mode are you talking about that is? Take action?
Well, the take action part is really tough. I've fought and dealt with communism and socialism and fascism and stuff for 40 years. And I've seen a lot of good men and women exhaust themselves, wear themselves out fighting those things in various forms in our country and around the world. And I guess probably they did some good things, but the fact of the matter is we're worse off today than we've ever been in our history. So obviously our battle didn't do very much to slow them down. We're still getting shafted, if you will.
All right. With the present time, you see, now everybody has a computer in their hand. Everybody is educating themselves, has the opportunity to educate and reach out now. Do you see maybe, a different generation coming up right now?
Well, there is the generation that's coming up now is very technically savvy. They're married to their devices, like their iPhones and their smartphones and stuff. They're educated, unfortunately, the educational system in America, especially, is pretty poor as far as critical thinking is concerned. But most of the younger generation today are completely embedded in their technology, to where they're really kind of just separated from reality. They're just kind of in a Alice in Wonderland.
You don't think they can change things with the technology now? Now we have opportunity to talk to someone in China. We have talked to other organizations around the world to wake up and realize, hey, it ain't the American people, it's the government. Same with other countries. It's not that country, where people wake up and rise up and stand together.
You bet. There's a lot of opportunity for communication. I applaud you guys. You're young guys, right?
Yes, sir.
I applaud you for doing your part. And I wish there was 10,000 times 10,000 of people like you that were willing to stand up and study a little bit, and not just take the standard answer, but look behind the scenes a little bit and figure out what's going on. I wish more people would do it. But for the young people like you, you're doing a good thing for sure.
Yeah, that's a lot of people, first thing they say is, what can I do? Who am I? And that's the first thing most people say. And that's the thing, educate yourself. You don't have to do nothing. You don't have to go nowhere, but educate yourself to understand what is going on, so you see what the government is doing with you, and, society is direct you in a direction that they want you to go.
Hey, Patrick,
you bet.
Hey, Patrick, we're coming into a break here in about a minute or so. And when we come back, I would like to really get into the history of technocracy and really break down what is it and how it controls us and the various, because, my understanding, it's a very complex topic, is that, it's using all of these control systems. It's like a mixture of Orwellian's 1984, mixed in with transhumanism and, this economic and financial aspect of it. So maybe when we get back, you can just really break down what technocracy is and how it's ruling us in our everyday lives. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Battle of New Orleans Radio right here on 990 AM WGSO. Look, support us. Support this radio station. Go to battlenola.com. Hit that donate button. Help us out. You want to buy an ad on the show? Hit me up. 985-640-8822. You listen to Battle of New Orleans Radio.
As the corporate media dies, MetroNow.com and TheDailyResistance.com continue to give you a decentralized and independent take on the latest current events as well as historical reference to help you wade through the propaganda of the prostitute media. Our mission is to inform the people of New Orleans about the issues of freedom, health, world events, and much more so that we as a community can thrive in the 21st century. Only with an informed public will we truly be free and independent. So take a look at MetroNow.com or TheDailyResistance.com as your independent news source.
For all your residential, commercial, construction, and contracting needs, call Eric with E.J. Milligan Construction. They are your complete one-stop construction company. From large commercial, residential projects, new builds, and additions, E.J. Milligan Construction has you covered from the dirt to the doors. So please, call Eric at 985-690-6468. That's 985-690-6468. 6468, or you can visit them on the web at ejmilliganconstruction.com. Whether you're in the real estate market to buy, sell, lease, or looking for someone just to manage your properties, look no further than Paula Bourne with Plantation Properties. She has 34 years experience and is an expert of all of the latest programs available to homeowners. She has been my trusted realtor for years now. So please call Paula Bourne with Plantation Properties at 504-858-9293. That's 504-858-9293. Renovations Your Way. They renovate to fit your needs with complete customer service from start to finish that goes way beyond the job. With over 20 years of experience, and they are fully insured, and they support the Battle of New Orleans Radio to unite the metro area in the fight for liberty.
Visit us on the web at renovationsyourway.com or call me, Daniel, at 985-402-5916. That's 985-402-5916. renovationsyourway.com. Mention you heard about us on Battle of New Orleans Radio and receive a 10% discount.
Does your house have a clogged up toilet, faulty electrical wires, or AC or heater just isn't blowing properly? Well, call Herman with Superior AC, Electrical, and Plumbing at 985-781-0418. Also specializes in new construction and covers the whole New Orleans metro area. So please, call our friend Herman with Superior AC, Electrical, and Plumbing at 985-781-0418. That's 985-781-0418.
Enjoy fresh fruit grown in your yard. JohnnyAppleseedTrees.com delivers and installs fruit trees and fruiting vines to your home or condo. Proudly serving Kenner, Metairie, and New Orleans. Apples, apricots, blackberries, citrus, figs, grapes, peaches, pears, persimmons, plums, and raspberries. All the trees and fruiting vines are grown right here in South Louisiana. Check out the Fruit Tree Guide for more information and visit JohnnyAppleseedTrees.com today. It's a great time to plant. JohnnyAppleseedTrees.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. You're listening to Battle of New Orleans Radio. Right here, we are trying to fight the New World Order, make it exciting, make it educational. There is no other program like this in the New Orleans area, so please tell your friends and neighbors, tune in, check us out Wednesday night, 7 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on 990 AM WGSO, right here in the heart of the Crescent City. All right, Mr. Wood, we have Mr. Patrick Wood on the line, the author of Technocracy Rising, the Trojan Horse of Global Transformation. Yeah, Patrick, you started getting into it a little bit. Could you please, give us the history, who's behind this, what all entails of this technocracy and what it is and how it controls us? And that's a lot of stuff I threw out, but go ahead.
Well, sure. It'd be good to go back to 1932 when technocracy originally was created at Columbia University in New York City. That was the leading progressive oriented college, university back in those days. The prominent scientists and engineers from that university decided to create this system called technocracy. Of course, there was talk about it during the 1920s, but it really got going in 1932. And by 1938, the Technocrat magazine defined technocracy like this, very short little paragraph, but this tells you what it is, what they had in mind. This is a direct quote. Quote, "Technocracy is the science of social engineering, the scientific operation of the entire social mechanism to produce and distribute goods and services to the entire population." That's it. That's pretty simple. But there's a lot packed into that little statement, like the science of social engineering. What does that mean? What does it mean, the scientific operation of the entire social mechanism? That would be all the people, including you and me. And what about the object of this, which is to produce and distribute goods and services to the entire population? You see the economic nature of technocracy with the last little part of that. But what these guys decided they would do is use the scientific method to create a social engineering system that would control and monitor and direct all the people in society to operate with maximum efficiency, if you will, to squeeze out all the inefficiency in society and basically just kind of turn the world into a scientific dictatorship. The reason I say scientific dictatorship, in 1932, there was a book written by Aldous Huxley. It was called Brave New World. We all know that phrase. We use it in society even today. When somebody talks about spying or something. Oh, yeah, it's a brave new world, isn't it? Little did they know that Huxley was looking straight into the face of technocracy when he penned that book. He saw what it meant. He understood what it meant. And he wrote the book Brave New World, which is a book about scientific dictatorship. It's crazy, but they were dead serious about doing this. And they tried to implement it back in the 1930s and failed. And the whole ball of wax was resuscitated around 1970 by Zbigniew Brzezinski, who happened to also be a professor at Columbia University. And he wrote a book called Between Two Ages, America's Role in the Technotronic Era. What he was referring to as in Technotronic Era was technocracy. And so when he and David Rockefeller got together shortly thereafter to create the Trilateral Commission in 1973, there was no surprise, looking backwards, that what they said they were going to do, the goal of their organization, was to create what they called a new international economic order. That was always in italics, like in quotes. That was their organizational marketing line, if you will. They wanted to create a new international economic order. I didn't quite understand that back then, but looking back now that I've discovered technocracy, I understand perfectly that the word new really meant new, and that what they had in mind was technocracy. And like I said, you could call it neo-technocracy if you wanted to, meaning new technocracy, but still, it's the same stuff that came from the 1930s, and the Trilateral Commission has since spread this dogma all over the world. And here we are today.
Yeah, I mean, if it was just regular Joe Blow on the street, talking like this and wanting to implement, technocracy, talking with their friends at the schoolyard would be one thing. But we're talking about David Rockefeller, who, you read his memoirs and you read all of his quotes. I mean, he's openly, tried to implement, various, forms of global and world government for decades now. So these are people that can actually shape and have shaped the world more than anybody else in the last 100 years.
They really have. And even though up until 1973, they had tried and failed many times to get traction on creating what they viewed as a new world order, 1973 was different. When they created the Trilateral Commission, it was the first action-oriented organization in the world, of these elitists anyway, that was designed specifically for a purpose, and that was to create a new economic system and bring it into play. This was literally the coup of the century, if not the millennia. And so they threw all their efforts, starting in 73, through the auspices of the Trilateral Commission, to spread this gospel, if you will, of the new economy all over the world. And at first it was slow going, but then they got the United Nations involved in 1992 when the first Earth Summit was held.
Hey, Patrick, hold that thought. We're coming to a break. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Battle of New Orleans Radio. We have Mr. Patrick Wood on Skype with us. Ladies and gentlemen, check out his book, Technocracy Rising, the Trojan Horse of Global Transformation. We'll be right back.
As the corporate media dies, MetroNow.com and TheDailyResistance.com continue to give you a decentralized and independent take on the latest current events as well as historical reference to help you wade through the propaganda of the prostitute media. Our mission is to inform the people of New Orleans about the issues of freedom, health, world events, and much more so that we as a community can thrive in the 21st century. Only with an informed public will we truly be free and independent. So take a look at MetroNow.com or TheDailyResistance.com as your independent news source.
This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. A General Steel building can save you as much as half the cost and time of similar conventional conventional construction. And we're offering rebates of up to $20,000 to help you build today. Call General Steel for free information that could save you thousands. Call 866-95-STEEL. 866-95-STEEL. That's 866-95-STEEL. This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. A General Steel building can save you as much as half the cost and time of similar conventional construction. And we're offering rebates of up to $20,000 to help you build today. Call General Steel for free information that could save you thousands. Call 866-95-STEEL. 866-95-STEEL. That's 866-95-STEEL.
It's Jeff Carrere, host of Ringside Politics. I'd like to introduce WGSO General Manager Richard Tate.
WGSO is locally owned and operated right here in New Orleans. We believe in cultivating local talent and emphasize local programs. If you have an interest in hosting your own program, we have some prime spots available.
Thanks, Richard. Folks, take advantage of this great offer. Email me at jeff@wgso.com or call me at 504-669-6076. Come fulfill your radio dreams at WGSO.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Halen Doty. President Barack Obama nominated a new Supreme Court Justice, Merrick Garland, but not all agree with his decision. Emily Gunn has more.
Republican U.S. Senator David Vitter believes the next president should decide the nominee because it's a reflection of what the people want. Vitter is a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee and won't vote to advance the president's nomination.
I would not vote to advance the nomination because I want the people to have a direct voice.
Vitter says the Senate is within their constitutional authority not to hold a vote on Garland, and he says there are affirmative plans that there will not be a hearing. I'm Emily Gunn.
The National Weather Service is concerned about potential flooding along two major rivers in the northern half of the state. Hydrologist C.S. Ross says all that rain that fell in northwest and northeast Louisiana is making its way down south.
Those floodwaters are working their way south and southeastward down the Red River as well as the Washita River.
Ross says last week's rain event produced almost 27 inches of rain near Monroe. Louisiana Radio Network.
This Ram Truck Month, if you're heading to the woods, you're going to want to get into a Ram 3500. Only the 3500 has the best-in-class towing you need to haul your custom, built-for-a-king-size trailer deep into the forest. And you may be getting off the grid, but that doesn't mean you're roughing it. With Ram 3500's 31,210-pound towing capacity, you can take your home away from home way into the wilderness. Going it alone takes guts, the satisfaction of self-reliance. That's the glory. Get a great deal during Ram Truck Month. Right now, get $5,000 total cash allowance on the 2016 Ram 2500 Tradesman Crew Cab with a gas engine. See your local Ram dealer today and take advantage of this great offer. Visit ramtrucks.com to find a Ram dealer near you and to check out other great deals on the full line of rugged Ram trucks. 350, 3500 pickups with available Cummins diesel when properly equipped. Residency restrictions apply. Take retail delivery by 4416. Ram is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
This is Jeff Carrere with my commentary of the day. So voters have now spoken in 5 more states. Trump winning 3, possibly 4, Kasich winning 1. Now the insiders and the elitists and the establishment plotting to steal the nomination. Trump has won 19 states. Cruz 9, Kasich now 1. The other candidate dropped out. Clearly, Trump is the leader in delegates, votes, and number of states won. While he may not get to the magic number of delegates to secure the nomination, he'll roll into the convention with a big lead. It would be an abomination to deprive him of the nomination. It will be thwarting the will of the American people. It will be trickery by the elites to once again install an establishment choice as a nominee. If this occurs, say goodbye to the Republican Party. Say goodbye to the millions of Trump voters. And say hello to President Hillary Clinton. More info on this and the other hot topics of the day, check out ringsidepolitics.com.
Grace at the Greenlight is a not-for-profit outreach that serves the homeless community in the New Orleans area. In just over a year, we have served over 22,000 meals and distributed over 40,000 bottles of water to the homeless. Grace at the Greenlight would like to thank First NBC for sponsoring this week's food and water distribution. Thanks, First NBC, for making a difference in the lives of the local homeless community. For more information about Grace at the Greenlight, visit our website at graceatthegreenlight.org.
Are you looking for an insurance quote for your home, boat, or car? If you're still waiting for that return phone call, wait no more. Foundation Insurance Group has 6 licensed agents to serve you, and you won't be limited to just one carrier. Our agents will shop for the most affordable, complete coverage available. There's lots of insurance companies out there. Pick the company where customer service is a priority. Foundation Insurance Group, where we guarantee to call you back. Foundation Insurance Group, 504-304-6143.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. You're listening to Battle of New Orleans Radio. I'm Nathan Lawrence, along with Danny Hamilton. We have Caleb Hitt on Skype, and we have Mr. Patrick Wood, author of Technocracy Rising, the Trojan horse of global transformation, on Skype with us. Go ahead, Patrick. I believe you were starting to talk about the 1992 Earth Summit. That's one of my favorite topics because that really laid out a global government control plan, and I've talked about this ad nauseum on this show and have had a ton of guests on about Agenda 21. So if you can, go ahead and take off where you left off there.
You bet. The concept of, I won't have to cover the ground again exactly what Agenda 21 is at this point. You just defined it pretty well. The backstory to Agenda 21 is that it came about because of a lady by the name of Gro Harlem Brundtland. She was Prime Minister of the Netherlands for a time, and she was an environmentalist. And she headed a committee that was sponsored by the United Nations called the Brundtland Commission. It terminated in 1987 with the book produced called Our Common Future. That book's still available at Amazon, by the way. You can go and buy it there for $10 or something. Our Common Future was primarily architected by Gro Brundtland. The United Nations later said that that book in particular was that it was the complete structure and outline of Agenda 21. That's where it came from. That was a pivotal document that the United Nations gives credit to for Agenda 21 that actually was solidified in 1992. Gro Harlem Brundtland was a member at the time she did this of the Trilateral Commission in Europe.
And she was a member of the Socialist Party as well. I think she was vice president.
Well, she was. But in particular, when we're talking about New International Economic Order, which I started out with in 1973 with Brzezinski and Rockefeller, what she did in 1987 with Our Common Future essentially was Trilateral Commission policy to bring into existence a new economic world order. And Agenda 21 was codified in writing to do just that. And so once the United Nations got a hold of it, it's gone absolutely nuts throughout the world. It's just gone bonkers. It's everywhere. It's in every community, every county, every state, every country, every district and province. It's amazing how they spread this all over the world. But it started with policy generated from a member of the Trilateral Commission. And that's just one of the things that we see along the way that give credence to what my theory is, or what I'm putting forward in Technocracy Rising, is that the Trilateral Commission has been at the center of this from the beginning. They are the ones who started this policy and have put it into spin around the world. And so now we see Agenda 21, in any case, with its sustainable development. That was popularized with Agenda 21, the concept of sustainable development. But it's not a political term. As you know, sustainable development is an economic term. And we need to look at it as an economic term because, of course, you have to have a system of governance to go along with it, but the idea is primarily economic in nature. It's not just about politics. It's about economics.
Mr. Patrick, this trilateral group you keep speaking of, how large is this organization and who are they? Because we've heard about them. We've had, we have the statue issue in New Orleans right now, and the Trilateral Commission group is behind it. Are they part of the UN, or are they a lobbyist group? Who are they?
No, they're not part of the UN for sure. If anything, the UN is part of them. They do what they want, what they tell them. But the commission originally was not a government organization at all. It was a completely private organization started in 1973, and they picked members from North America, Japan, and Europe. That's where the word tri came from, TRI, Trilateral Commission. And so the membership originally consisted of a few prominent politicians, many directors and CEOs and stuff of major multinational corporations. There were some legal firms involved. There were some press, some media companies involved. And the membership represented a cross-section of the global elite at that point. And that membership stays at, it's mixed that way today as well. You still have the three regions represented. You have Asia now, North America, still North America, and you have Europe. And we see what's happened in Europe with the European Union over the years. And if you track, or just go read David Rockefeller's memoirs, you will find that the European Union was created by members of the Trilateral Commission. Not exclusively, but they were the drivers behind it that created it. And Rockefeller even wrote about it in his book, Memoirs. He's made a couple of statements about it since then as well. So these people are extremely powerful, guys, is all I'm saying.
Yeah,
they're the movers and shakers.
Do they have anything with the Bilderberg Group? Is this some? It sounds sort of the same, to me. The Bilderberg Group.
Well, let me tell you the difference. Brzezinski and Rockefeller actually went to the 1972 Bilderberg meeting to float the idea of starting the Trilateral Commission.
Okay.
They got a lot of good feedback. They said, hey, guys, go do that. We'll be right behind you, sort of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they came back to the United States. They started the Trilateral Commission in 1973. But I'll point out that the Bilderberg Group is really nothing more than a discussion group. They're very important people that go to it, but it has no action plan by itself. It's just a bunch of elitists getting together and smoking cigars and drinking scotch, I think. But they talk about stuff that affects you and me.
Mm-hmm.
And by contrast, the Trilateral Commission was never created to be a policy organization, a think tank. It wasn't created to be a think tank. It wasn't created to be some kind of social club or, just where people get together and discuss things. They started out with a specific action plan, and they started doing things that would carry out that action plan. You see the difference, what I'm saying here?
Yes, sir. They
had an action plan. That changes everything. You said earlier in the show, hey, if they're just a bunch of people talking, big deal. Who cares? Everybody talks, you can have talk. Talk is cheap. It's free speech and all that jazz. But when you put shoe leather to your talk and you start going out and doing the things that you say you're going to, say you want to do, and it affects you and me, well, we have a right to intervene and listen very carefully.
Mm-hmm.
So the Trilateral Commission was an action-oriented group from day one. The evidence of that, by the way, the first evidence was when Jimmy Carter was elected president in 1976. Jimmy Carter and his vice president, Walter Mondale, were both members of the Trilateral Commission. As soon as Carter got into office, he appointed 1/3 of the U.S. membership of the Trilateral Commission to his cabinet, to the State Department, and other high-level positions in government. In fact, at one time, all but one of his cabinet were not members of the Trilateral Commission. I mean, just one was not a member. The rest of them were. It's incredible.
He didn't have any puppet masters.
They took over, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just took over our executive branch.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick, I have a question for you. The thing that kind of interests me and piques my, not in a good way, but you see all of this. You talked about a scientific dictatorship earlier. You just look at all these scientific plans that are just being released right in front of our eyes. I mean, like I was talking about genetically modified mosquitoes. That's one part of it. And you look at some of these geoengineering programs that are going on. I mean, you just look at our food is being genetically engineered. I mean, our bodies are basically being changed. Our minds and our mental state are being rewired. I mean, is this all part of technocracy?
You bet it is. And I probably ought to be careful at this point to say that I am not anti-technology in any way. I love technology personally. And I'm not bashing all scientists and engineers, because most of them are good, solid people that don't have any ulterior designs to control the whole world, like Dr. No. And so, I don't want to alienate portions of the audience that might be scientists or engineers or technicians or something. We're not taking a shot at everybody here, but only those advanced scientific guys that have visions of grandeur to think that they're better than anybody else and that they can just go do stuff that concerns you and me without getting our permission first. And geoengineering is a great example. The skies are being filled with stuff that most likely is harmful to humans' health.
Metals.
Okay? Did they ask us to that? Did anybody have a vote on it? Did you ever hear a discussion about it, or did they just show up?
No, they won't even discuss that. There's not one politician that will even discuss it. They close their eyes and pretend like that doesn't even exist. I mean,
see, this is the attitude of a technocrat. If their scientific method says this is the right thing to do, in other words, if science says, kind of play Simon Says, right? Yeah. If science says, you have to do it. That's the deal with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt.
And they're the scientists.
Look, we're coming into a break. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to Battle of New Orleans Radio. When we get back, Adam will take your call.
Enjoy fresh fruit grown in your yard. JohnnyAppleseedTrees.com delivers and installs fruit trees and fruiting vines to your home or condo. Proudly serving Kenner, Metairie, and New Orleans. Apples, apricots, blackberries, citrus, figs, grapes, peaches, pears, persimmons, plums, and raspberries. All the trees and fruiting vines are grown right here in South Louisiana. Check out the Fruit Tree Guide for more information and visit JohnnyAppleseedTrees.com today. It's a great time to plant. JohnnyAppleseedTrees.com.
For all your residential, commercial, construction, and contracting needs, call Eric with E.J. Milligan Construction. They are your complete one-stop construction company. From large commercial, residential projects, new builds, and additions, E.J. Milligan Construction has you covered from the dirt to the doors. So please, call Eric at 985-690-6468. That's 985-690-6468. Or you can visit them on the web at ejmilliganconstruction.com. Whether you're in the real estate market to buy, sell, lease, or looking for someone just to manage your properties, look no further than Paula Bourne with Plantation Properties. She has 34 years experience and is an expert of all of the latest programs available to homeowners. She has been my trusted realtor for years now. So please call Paula Bourne with Plantation Properties at 504-858-9293. That's 504-858-9293. Renovations Your Way. They renovate to fit your needs with complete customer service from start to finish that goes way beyond the job. With over 20 years experience, and they are fully insured, and they support the Battle of New Orleans Radio to unite the metro area in the fight for liberty.
Visit us on the web at renovationsyourway.com or call me, Daniel, at 985-402-5916. That's 985-402-5916. renovationsyourway.com. Mention you heard about us on Battle of New Orleans Radio and receive a 10% discount.
Does your house have a clogged up toilet, faulty electrical wires, or AC or heater just isn't blowing properly? Well, call Herman with Superior AC, Electrical, and Plumbing at 985-781-0418. Also specializes in new construction and covers the whole New Orleans metro area. So please, call our friend Herman with Superior AC, Electrical, and Plumbing at 985-781-0418. That's 985-781-0418. Ooh-wee. Hey, David, that smell good. What you eating on?
Man, I'm eating on some shrimp I got from J&N Big Easy Seafood.
Man, I had to get me some of that.
Yeah, bro, they specialize in the delivery, catering of 20 pounds or more boiled or live shrimp, crawfish, catfish, crabs, frog legs, and much more.
And how do I get in touch with J&N's Big Easy Seafood?
Just call them up. Call 985-640-8822. That's 985-640-8822.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. You're listening to Battle of New Orleans Radio. I'm Nathan Lawrence, along with Danny Hamilton. We got Caleb Hitt on Skype, and we have Mr. Patrick Wood, author, historian, economist. He wrote a great book called Technocracy Rising, the Trojan Horse of Global Transformation. Yeah, Patrick, we were talking about science, I believe, when we went to break. But look, I think we have a call. Let's take this call real quick, if you don't mind. We have Adam on line 2. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, good evening, gentlemen. As I listen to this very interesting discussion, I saw it boil down for me to two things: power and greed.
Yeah,
and if you take that and start connecting the dots, you have your answer to why our young people are being dumbed down in the public schools, because in the eyes of these people with these schemes, these young people, as far as the masses are concerned, are no more than means of production, just as the technology aspects of equipment are means of production. So these people don't want our children to be able to think for themselves. They just want them to be able to operate the equipment, you might say, basically performing as robots.
Hey, Adam, I agree with that to a certain extent, but now we're seeing they no longer need us anymore. I mean, you look at Bill Joy wrote a piece in 1999 or 2000 for Wired magazine, talking about the future. Well, humans won't be needed. We're seeing that now. And from my research, I may be wrong, Mr. Wood, correct me if I'm wrong, is that at the end of the day, it's more than power and greed for these people. A lot of these come out of these eugenicists cult. And at the end of the day, for these people, it's about death. All of these elite talk about killing and eliminating herds and herds of people, and they're slowly doing that with a lot of these depopulation programs we see, on the slick. They don't come out on CNN and tell us they're doing these things, but if you look at these vaccine programs, you look at all of these things with these diseases and these viruses, I mean, they've been working on this for decades now. What's your take on that, Mr. Wood?
Well, do you have stories occasionally down in your area about somebody who is defined as a hoarder, Hoarder?
Yes, sir.
Like somebody that has so much trash in their house that it falls over and kills them.
Yeah.
Or, they have, 85 cats in their house or something like that. They hoard cats. The hoarding complex is something that you don't see a lot, but what you see with this global elite group represented by the Trilateral Commission, for instance, you see a bunch of people who are hoarding resources of the world. This is what it's all about. Grab the resources, put them into a common global trust. Like they say it's for the global good, But put it in a common global trust with trustees that will manage and monitor that for future generations, they say. And who will be the trustees? Well, I could tell you who they'll be, the same people designing the trust in the first place. But when you look at that as a core issue, they want to hoard the resources. The first thing that's going to happen is that they're going to be jealous of anybody that uses those resources.
Right.
You see, whether it be oil or gas or gold or timber or whatever, if they want to hoard all the resources of the world, then they're going to be jealous to protect that and not let you and me use any more than is absolutely necessary to, kind of to keep going. And they would also say, this was written in Agenda 21, they said that the Earth can probably, on current trajectory, can probably only support maybe 800 to 900 million people.
Right.
That's a long ways from where we are now, 7.2 billion people. Mm-hmm. So this is the core of it. Everything revolves around grabbing the resources. This is what climate change is all about. This is what sustainable development is all about.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, Mr. Wood, we have on line 1, we have our co-host that couldn't make it in the night. We have Goyim. Goyim on line 1. What's your question for Mr. Wood?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good, brother. Thanks for calling in. Yeah, you're good. We can hear you.
Really quickly, Patrick, what's the situation with the cashless society? I talk with my girlfriend a lot about it. I can't put my finger on exactly why I think it's going to be bad, but you can see us moving towards that. With the new $100 bills, and I talk with her a lot. She thinks it's so cool to be able to swipe your phone at a kiosk or buy something with a card and, you know, have no cash in your pocket, and she thinks people are going to rob her if she has cash on her body. Me, I've always been the type to pay stuff off and have cash on me. What's the threat to the cashless society, and what's your take on that topic in particular?
You bet. Technocracy will require a cashless society in the end of it. I can't really give you all the reasons why. I'll just let that statement stand. Hopefully you get a copy of my book, Technocracy Rising, and read it. You'll see, you see why I say it. But listen, here's what the head of climate change at the United Nations said last year. Christiana Figueres, direct quote from her mouth. She was in Europe when she said this. She said, "This is the first time in the history of mankind that we're setting ourselves the task of intentionally, within a defined period of time, to change the economic development model that has been reigning for at least 150 years since the Industrial Revolution." She went on to say this is probably the most difficult task we've ever given ourselves, which is to intentionally transform the economic development model for the first time in human history. Close quote. That's what she said. Now, our response to this is we can either just say she's whacked and has, she's out of her mind, or we can take her at face value and just believe what she said, that they have a timetable, that they have a plan, and they have a replacement system. All three things waiting to go. The cashless society is essential to pulling off this new economic system.
You have any other questions, Goy?
No, that was about it. I just was, curious because I like to have things paid off, and I don't see how future generations or the next generation is going to be able to pay things off if there's no cash in hand, So I appreciate taking my call, and y'all have a good night.
All right, thanks, Goy. I appreciate it. I have a question, Mr. Wood. I know we don't have much time with you. Is that where does transhumanism play a part in this technocracy?
Transhumanism and technocracy are joined at the hip, in my estimation. And the reason is, if you're going to transform the world into a new system, doesn't it make sense that you'd also want to transform the people that would be part of this new world? Well, of course. Society is comprised of people.
Evolve to a better human race.
That's right. And transhumanism says that they're going to create humans 2.0. And believe me, talk about the haves and the have-nots coming. The only people who are going to be able to pay for this kind of technology are the super rich and wealthy. You and I will be lucky to get crumbs from the table.
Well, Mr. Patrick, we know all this. We know the Trilateral. We know the Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. What are you doing to stop them? What do you think we can do to stop them? Is there any way we can stop this from happening?
Hold on. We're coming to Patrick. Can you stay one more segment with us? Answer this question. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to Battle of New Orleans Radio. We're coming to a break. We'll be right back.
Death's construction in the fields of bodies burning as the war machine keeps turning death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh Lord, yeah.
Enjoy fresh fruit grown in your yard. JohnnyAppleseedTrees.com delivers and installs fruit trees and fruiting vines to your home or condo. Proudly serving Kenner, Metairie, and New Orleans. Apples, apricots, blackberries, citrus, figs, grapes, peaches, pears, persimmons, plums, and raspberries. All the trees and fruiting vines are grown right here in South Louisiana. Check out the Fruit Tree Guide for more information and visit JohnnyAppleseedTrees.com today. It's a great time to plant. JohnnyAppleseedTrees.com.
This advertisement does not constitute an offer to sell a franchise. The offer of a franchise can only be made through the delivery of a franchise disclosure document.
Fresh Healthy Vending is a new company that is revolutionizing the vending machine business by filling them with healthy and natural foods. That's right. Protein and energy drinks, teas and juices, yogurts, fresh fruits and veggies, soy milk, natural cereals, granola bars. Can you imagine that? It's like having a whole food store in a machine. And you can get in on the ground floor by getting your own Fresh Healthy Vending franchise. You can have your own small business placing healthy food vending machines all over your area in places like schools and hospitals and businesses and airports and other high traffic areas. Locations that embrace the idea because, they make money too. Full training and support and assistance in acquiring locations. It's all about timing, folks. Pick up the phone, make the call to Fresh Healthy Vending, and get all the details on what could be your big life moment. Get Fresh Healthy Vending franchise information now. Call 800-424-8282. 424-8282. That's 800-424-8282.
It's Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics. I'd like to introduce WGSO General Manager Richard Tate.
WGSO is locally owned and operated right here in New Orleans. We believe in cultivating local talent and emphasize local programs. If you have an interest in hosting your own program, we have some prime spots available.
Thanks, Richard. Folks, take advantage of this great offer. Email me at jeff@wgso.com or call me at 504-669-6076. Come fulfill your radio dreams at WGSO.
Your station for prep sports year-round. We are WGSO, 990 AM, New Orleans.
And will he be taken up by the Judiciary Committee? He will not be.
That's Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell standing firm on blocking President Obama's Supreme Court nominee, Merrick Garland, after he's asked about reports that some Senate Republicans are still planning to meet with Garland.
People can choose to meet or not meet as they see fit, but this nominee is not going to be considered.
McConnell saying earlier on the Senate floor Americans should have a voice on who the next Supreme Court justice is.
So let's give them a voice.
McConnell saying that voice will come in the form of the ballots cast in November's election. Republican Donald Trump saying if he doesn't win the Republican presidential nomination, there could be riots.
I think you would have problems like you've never seen before. I think bad things would happen.
Trump then Kasich bail on his scheduled Monday GOP debate on Fox. Now Fox has had to cancel it. This is USA Radio News.
Control, this is QL1. Side hatch is secure.
QL1, this is Control. We copy, showing normal cabin pressure. Over.
Control, this is QL1. Do you like mortgages?
That's a negative, QL1. Over.
Control, do you like rockets?
That's affirmative, QL1. Over.
Do you like rocket mortgages?
I'm listening. Over.
Of course you are, Control. Everyone likes rockets. Control, Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that turns the entire mortgage process into a fast, powerful, completely online experience.
Copy that, QL1. I'm going to go ahead and push this button in. 3, 2, 1.
Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket.
Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
More now on the president's Supreme Court nominee who gun rights supporters are not very happy about. Here's more from senior correspondent Jason Wirt.
At least one gun rights group says it's laughable that Merrick Garland, President Obama's Supreme Court nominee, is being called a moderate by anyone. Eric Pratt of Gun Owners of America tells USA Radio News Garland wants to take away Americans' guns.
He has supported gun bans. He wanted to reconsider the D.C. gun ban ruling in 2007, which actually was a good ruling in the D.C. court system. They ruled against Washington, D.C. and struck down the gun ban.
Pratt added Garland was also in favor of using executive action to nullify established gun law. I'm Jason Wirt.
The Federal Reserve deciding against changing its key interest rate as it wraps up a two-day meeting, leaving the door open, though, for another rate hike later this year. The Fed Chief Janet Yellen also saying policymakers expect to see moderate economic growth. This is USA Radio News.
And now, a touching moment. Well, staying in touch with Geico.
It was a warm summer day. I was just sitting on a porch watching a babbling brook roll by. Then, out of the blue, I got an update from my Geico app saying my claim had been processed. I felt so connected to to nature, to Geico. I stayed there the whole afternoon until that guy told me to stop trespassing on his porch. Sheesh. What was his problem?
Claim status updates just a few taps away on the Geico app.
Disgraced.
Hey, folks, this is Jeff Cruere. Join me at 7 a.m. till 11 right here on WGSO 990 a.m. or Ringside Politics with a Punch. We're going to be bringing you great guests. We'll discuss the latest hot topics and, of course, taking your phone calls. On Thursday, join us as we celebrate St. Patrick's Day with our favorite Italian, attorney, activist, and commentator, Ringside All-Star Nick Verrecchio, as we try to make sense to this presidential race. All of that and more right here on Ringside from 7 to 11 on WGSO.
Parts of Metro New Orleans has already had a few passing showers. They're continuing to move on. Additional activity may develop. More widely scattered tonight, but increasing tomorrow as well as Friday. Overnight tonight, we're going to be under some clouds. Rain chance starting up at 30% tonight. We'll have a chance of showers around to 2 each day, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday too. Then finally, a front will make it through to cool us down and dries out for Sunday. 60s tonight, 30% or so for a thunderstorm. That'll go upwards to 60% for tomorrow and about 70% on Friday. Tomorrow warming back into the upper 70s, and it's about lower 70s as things get a little cooler as we go into the weekend. The annual A-Meat Oyster Festival with a full weekend of family fun and live entertainment, including Will Vance and the Kinfolk. Category 6, Domino's, Chase Tyler. There'll be a parade Saturday, 10 a.m. A car show, carnival rides, arts and crafts, and of course, Louisiana Oysters. Click ameatoysterfestival.com. Ralph Sanji, WGSO.
In 1814, we took a little trip along with Colonel Jackson down the mighty Mississippi. We took a little bacon and we took a little beans, and we caught the bloody British in a town in New Orleans. We fired our guns and the
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Listen to Battle of New Orleans Radio. We got one more segment with author Patrick Wood. He wrote a book called Technocracy Rising, the Trojan Horse of Global Transformation. Look, Patrick, tell everybody about your websites, and also tell them where's the best place they can find your work.
Well, you bet. People can go to technocracy.news. That's the ending of it, .news, not .com, technocracy.news. They'll find everything there to follow along with current stories from all over the world about technocracy. They'll see where they can buy the book, Technocracy Rising. If they buy it from my website, I always send out an autographed copy. And you can also go to Amazon.com and get it there. And there's a Kindle version on Amazon. If you like electronic readers, that's where you go, to Amazon.com. Look it up. You'll find a number of really good reviews there. You can check those out before you buy if you want, but you'll find that they're mostly all 5-star reviews.
I'm upset now. My copy and autograph, I should have ordered it from your site. Man.
Oh, rats. Well, when you order the next one, give your copy away to somebody, and when you order the next one, order it from me.
I will do it. Danny had that question for you. Go ahead, Danny.
Yeah, Patrick. It's just we know all this is going on, and, you say you've been fighting this from the 70s, and, then we had, to me, the new generation coming up. What do you think we can do to change it? What do you think we can do to stop it?
Here's the very first thing. Obviously, you have to be educated and informed to know what the problem is. You cannot defeat an enemy that you do not know. So you have to spend some effort to find out what the heck's going on. You guys have done a good job. Mm-hmm. But then here's the deal. I believe the only thing that's left for us to do at this point is we, the people, are going to have to go into our communities and clean up the garbage that has trickled down from this stuff into every city, every province, every district, every county, every state in the country, and even all around the world. But for us Americans, our communities need to be cleaned out. And people can only do that by getting up off the couch and going down to the city council meetings, going down to the county meetings, going to the school board meetings, going to the water board meetings, etc., and find out what these rats are doing and challenge them and say, don't do that anymore, and give them reasons why they shouldn't do that anymore, and engage them in the public square and don't let them get away with this stuff.
Well, we do that, brother. We go to the council meetings. We stay on our city level. You know, we go to the council meetings and we make them test waters. We stay on them, you know, and I believe we can stop them. You know, I'm an anarchist. I don't believe in government. I don't believe in a leader. You know, it's the people. The people have the power to stand up to fight this. This is the only way it would happen. You know, not no revolution, nothing, just a evolution, you know, evolve to a better human race, you know, to understand, to, you know, better, you know, because they designed us to live in our small bubbles and don't care about anybody else in the world. You know, people start waking up and caring more about others.
Mm-hmm. That's
right. You know, because I'm an activist. I'm always out there in the streets of DC. I'm out there trying to push the message, you know, to educate yourself. Knowledge and love, you know, that will change the world.
That's good. That's commendable. Absolutely. Every time I get a chance to say it, I say, get up, get out, get active. That's it.
And, you know, it's just, and it starts with self. You don't have to get out and be, you know, any protest or go, you know, educate yourself. First step, educate yourself so you know what's going on. You know what they're throwing at you, and you start with self, you know, and once you start understanding, you can teach others. And that's the only way with the people. And the people just need to wake up, rise up, and stand together.
That's right.
That's it.
You know, we have to get out of our comfort zone. You know, we have to start going to city council meetings with the information and the evidence. And even if it's not comfortable, start presenting them with, you know, this evidence of Agenda 21. You know, all these, you know, United Nations global government control mechanisms that they're using. I mean, right here in New Orleans, you know, I spotted this last summer, Mr. Wood, that our mayor was gallivanting with the Pope, and they were discussing this resilient city plan that is a Rockefeller Foundation initiative, but it comes down from the United Nations, and I'm sure it was probably
trilateral.
I'm sure it was dreamt up at the Trilateral Commission. You know, and that's just here on a local level.
You can see it. More you research, you see it in a local level. You know, it's not in other places in the world. It's in your town, it's in your city, it's in your county, in your parish. You know, you need to educate yourself. You know, they're doing it. The government is overstepping everything, and just you know, the TPP. You know, they're selling out to the world.
That's right. Good. Yeah, the TPP is a trade treaty coming up. You know, a trade agreement.
Yeah.
That is absolutely going to be a driver for sustainable development and for technocracy. They've got this thing iced, and you know who the negotiator, the chief negotiator for the United States. He's a member of the Trilateral Commission. He was appointed by Obama to be his head U.S. trade representative. Michael Froman is his name, and he's a member of the Trilateral Commission, and he's out there negotiating the Trans-Pacific Partnership and saying, it's going to be good for all you guys out there. You're going to have jobs like
and that's a lot of people need to educate themselves about the TPP, because that's what it is. We're just being sold out to the world. Government don't matter. Corporations do whatever they want.
There is no government anymore. We're run by, you know, these offshore corporate, you know, elitists that, you know, government means nothing. You know, people are waiting for everybody, you know, for these leaders to come on TV and say, well, government's, you know, we're under world government. No, they're not going to do that. They've incrementally sold us under this world government program, and it's here. We woke up and we're enslaved now. The TPP has, you know, it's sold out all of our rights. You know, and these corporations can't even be held responsible. They're going to have their own separate court systems and everything. It's ridiculous.
That's the idea. That's exactly what their idea is. And right now they have the upper hand. But you know what? Americans can make a big stink over TPP as well. I think they should.
Most definitely. It's just anything anything infringing on our rights. You know, people need to understand that, and they infringe on your rights, and you don't even know it. And once you understand and wake up and start learning, you understand how much they have already stepped into your life.
Exactly. Yep. So we need to get moving fast because time is running out.
Well, brother, we try. You know, you've been fighting for a while. Well, we're picking up the torch and we're running with it, brother.
Man, I'm really glad to hear that. You can't believe how encouraging it is to see any person, that's on the young side.
Well, that's on the young side, like you were saying about the internet. Well, we're using that for a tool. Now we have groups and organizations through these, social media, and we're organizing and standing up. I follow a lot with the group Anonymous. We're doing things. We're changing, people's perspective of the world.
Yep, that's really good. You're on my list from now on.
Yes, sir. Danny Hamilton, you'll see me around.
Yeah, Patrick, we got 1 minute left. Please tell everybody, tell everybody about your site real quick, and then really appreciate talking to you tonight.
Sure, you bet. It's been a pleasure. My website is technocracy.news, and I can't say any more about it. Everything's there. Just go look around. It doesn't cost you a nickel. You can get on the email list and get a daily news digest of everything that I post during the daytime. And it'll open your eyes. It'll give you an eye full of stuff every day, what's going on around the world.
Yeah, it's a great site. I went to it a few times this week. It's an awesome site. And look, Patrick, we really appreciate your time, and I would love to have you back on, a few weeks from now. Maybe we could talk about, you and Anthony Sutton's book, Trilaterals Over Washington. You have a blessed night.
Yeah, Mr. Patrick. We have, we'll broadcast, YouTube, this video, audio, and if you can share it with your viewers and everything on your page, that'll be awesome.
Good. Sounds good. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. God bless.
Ooh-wee. Hey, David, that smell good. What you eating on?
Man, I'm eating on some shrimp I got from J&N Big Easy Seafood.
Man, I had to get me some of that.
Yeah, bro, they specialize in the delivery, catering of 20 pounds or more boiled or live shrimp, crawfish, catfish, crabs, frog legs, and much more.
And how do I get in touch with J&N's Big Easy Seafood?
Just call them up. Call 985-640-8822. That's 985-640-8822.
For all your residential, commercial, construction, and contracting needs, call Eric with EJ Milligan Construction. They are your complete one-stop construction company. From large commercial, residential projects, new builds, and additions, EJ Milligan Construction has you covered from the dirt to the doors. So please, call Eric at 985-690-6468. That's 985-690-6468. Or you can visit them on the web at ejmilliganconstruction.com. Whether you're in the real estate market to buy, sell, lease, or looking for someone just to manage your properties, look no further than Paula Bourne with Plantation Properties. She has 34 years experience and is an expert of all of the latest programs available to homeowners. She has been my trusted realtor for years now. So please call Paula Bourne with Plantation Properties at 504-858-9293. That's 504-858-9293. Renovation's your way. They renovate to fit your needs with complete customer service from start to finish that goes way beyond the job. With over 20 years experience, and they are fully insured, and they support the Battle of New Orleans Radio to unite the metro area in the fight for liberty.
Visit us on the web at renovationsyourway.com or call me, Daniel, at 985-402-5916. That's 985-402-5916. renovationsyourway.com. Mention you heard about us on Battle of New Orleans Radio and receive a 10% discount.
Does your house have a clogged up toilet, faulty electrical wires, or AC or heater just isn't blowing properly? Well, call Herman with Superior AC, Electrical, and Plumbing at 985-781-0418. Also specializes in new construction and covers the whole New Orleans metro area. So please, call our friend Herman with Superior AC, Electrical, and Plumbing at 985-781-0418. That's 985-781-0418.
As the corporate media dies, MetroNow.com and TheDailyResistance.com continue to give you a decentralized and independent take on the latest current events as well as historical reference to help you wade through the propaganda of the prostitute media. Our mission is to inform the people of New Orleans about the issues of freedom, health, world events, and much more so that we as a community can thrive in the 21st century. Only with an informed public will we truly be free and independent. So take a look at MetroNow.com or TheDailyResistance.com as your independent news source.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. You're listening to Battle of New Orleans Radio. How you doing over there, Danny? You all right?
I'm good. I'm still just waiting for the revolution to start.
You're living over there, bro. I heard that. Look, Caleb,
We got Caleb Hitt on Skype. That's Battle of New Orleans, Ohio reporter. We appreciate all the hard work he does each and every week with the YouTube uploads and all of his reporting he does on thedailyresistance.com. Caleb, go ahead. I'm turning it over to you, brother.
Oh, sure, yes. Well, Larry, obviously, it's story I've been following lately, of course, about Thomas David House of Deegan. I know we've had discussions in recent weeks, of course. His jury trial actually began this morning. I know yesterday we had the jury selection, of course. In the morning, they had a motions hearing. I know Carl Swennson, a Georgia reporter, he should be on the line right now. He was actually arrested in the courtroom. Now we do have an article posted on the Daily Resistance that talks somewhat about that, of course, along with a video, so people can check that out. But at any rate, Carl, are you on the line right now?
I am.
Okay, very good. If you don't mind, maybe I'll let you, just kind of as an introduction to the trial situation, of course, tell us what happened in the courtroom yesterday when you was thrown out.
Well, got to give you a little history first. And by the way, you guys are killing me with all of those ads for seafood. My goodness gracious!
We're from the South.
I haven't had any Gulf oysters in so long.
Hey, Carl, look, this is Nathan here. Look, call me up, 985-640-8822, and I'll ship you some. I'll ship it to you. I'll bring it to you.
I want to get some of them, man. I haven't had it so long, and it's just killing me. But anyway, let me get off of that. Yeah, we're having quite the show here by the powers that be, the corporate judiciary in Wood County, West Virginia, and the judge in this case, J.B. Reed, who he's got a new nickname. Let's see, I do as I please Reed. That he's on record as saying that in the court, and he's also on record as denying any use of the Constitution. But let me say this: Thomas David House of Deegan has baited them perfectly, because he's on trial for terroristic threats, and I'm up here trying to report on this stuff. Of course, the judge doesn't like any recordings done in his courtroom. So when I had my PIN camera going, and they discovered that, well, they just called that contempt of court and took me to the Gray Bar Hotel for the afternoon. And they released me in the afternoon. It was not a big deal, just an inconvenience. But he wanted to exert his authority and show what kind of a real man he is. You gotta love these guys. They're just totally out of control, and they're doing whatever they feel like doing. Well, anyway, I've got two other people with me here that were in the courtroom today, and I was watching the whole thing on the live stream, so I'm not losing anything by it, except for just being in there and showing Thomas that I'm there for him. But then he knows, because I crossed paths with him in the jail cell, and that was kind of interesting too.
So what's your take? What's your take, Carl, on the whole trial? I mean, I've kind of loosely followed it. I've watched some of the videos that were on YouTube that Phil Hudock put up. I mean, what's your take on this whole egregious trial that they're
This thing is more important than anybody really realizes. It cuts to all kinds of constitutional violations on the part of the courts and the sheriffs, the FBI, the whole ring of criminals. What Thomas uncovered was the corporosity and the non-existence of the West Virginia state government. They do not exist, and he was able to prove it. And in so doing, In so doing, he's getting it out there for the world to see on the record in the courts. And this is something that they've been wanting to avoid. Well, in the process, the judge has denied all of his motions to allow certain evidence in there. The only problem is that all of the things he denied were in and are on the evidence that prosecution is using against him. So now it's all fair game. Everything from the Constitution to the fact that there is nothing but a corporate environment here, and he has volumes of research, some of which my able research assistants here have been helping him with, to prove that they just flat don't exist. Now, most people know that West Virginia came into being in 1863 during the Civil War, during a time when the Congress was not a Congress at all. They were a puppet government that was established by the North in the interim under the law of necessity, and they have been working under the Lieber Code from that point till now. We are and have remained under martial law, and that has allowed them to do whatever they want. We know that, for example, the 14th Amendment is a bogus amendment. It was done, it was put together and put through Congress at the point of a bayonet, because the 10 southern states who had just come out of the war and had done their elections and properly seated senators and congressmen had them all removed at one time and replaced by the puppet government that the North established in their place. And if anybody knows anything about the Georgia Memorial, 1957 Georgia Memorial to Congress, they clearly put it out there. It's all over scanned retina. You'll find it there. Technocracy may even have that. I uncovered that by accident when I was trying to figure out when they stopped requiring people that were electors to take the oath saying they were not now, nor had they ever been, communists. And when I was searching through that, I had gone from somewhere in the 40s and I was moving forward. And when I got to 57, I just happened to run across these two really important documents.
1857?
1957. Georgia Memorial to Congress.
Mm-hmm.
Just do a Google search. You'll find it now. It's all over the place out there. I've got certified copies of that. Gave them to Bruce Ray Riggs from Barefoot. I can't remember.
Yeah. It's just not West Virginia, Louisiana, and pretty much every state in America. And when you go in that court system, it's not the, law of the people or law of the land. It's not what you believe it is, and they have totally taken control of the court system, because you go in there and you think you're the law of the land, but it's maritime law, and they basically do whatever they want.
And that's exactly what Thomas is being able to bring out in this court. And he's also able to bring out evidence like, we did a little search for Freedom of Information request on West Virginia to get their certificate of insurance.
Well, you can do that in Louisiana. We had a old host that did that. He, asked Louisiana, am I part of Louisiana? No, asked the government. And they could not tell you where you're from, or you're just a product,
Oh yeah.
Hold that thought, Carl. We're coming to a break. Well, look, real quick before we go to break, I want to 1957 Georgia Memorial to Congress. The 1957 Georgia Memorial to Congress is a joint resolution by the legislature of the state of Georgia and approved by the Georgia Governor Marvin Griffin on March 8, 1957, urging the Congress of the United States to declare the 14th and 15th Amendments null and void. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to Battle of New Orleans Radio right here on 990 AM WGSO.
Hey, David, that smell good. What you eating on?
Man, I'm eating on some shrimp I got from J&N Big Easy Seafood.
Man, I have to get me some of that.
Yeah, bro, they specialize in the delivery, catering of 20 pounds or more boiled or live shrimp, crawfish, catfish, crabs, frog legs, and much more.
And how do I get in touch with J&N's Big Easy Seafood?
Just call them up. Call 985-640-8822. That's 985-640-8822.
What are you doing to stop traffic when your business is ready to wow the pants off customers? Visit Sir Speedy. We produce quality signs, posters, banners, and more that are just a trick for trade shows, promotions, events, and product launches. Whether you're taking it to the street, the floor, or the counter, bigger is always better. For more information or to get a quote, go to SirSpeedyNewOrleans.com.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to ditch the car and start rollerblading to work.
I look ridiculous.
You look ridiculous!
You don't need to start foraging wild berries.
I was skeptical, but these are actually pretty good.
You don't need to sell your organs on the black market.
Lie back. This is gonna hurt.
Yeah, that hurts. You don't need to rent out your apartment to drifters.
I made a fire with the wood in your bedroom.
That's my dresser!
And your closet door.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell all your belongings and live in a commune.
These dungarees belong to all of us now, Tom.
Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
This is the Louisiana Radio Network Legislative Report. I'm Halen Doty. The Revenue Estimating Conference is out with its projections for Louisiana's budget deficits. Michelle Southern has the story.
Commissioner of Administration Jay Darden says the shortfall for this fiscal year is more than the $30 million they originally thought.
From the bills that passed in the legislature, we're going to have a $70 million hole still left that'll have to be filled between now and the end of June.
He says that means they have no choice but to make additional cuts to higher ed and health care.
We basically looked everywhere else to try and find where cuts would be appropriate.
The good news, he said, is that the shortfall for next fiscal year is lower than they thought at about $750 million. I'm Michelle Southern.
Higher education is already facing a $27 million cut in state funding this fiscal year, and that number is expected to grow. LSU President F. King Alexander anticipates a lower enrollment next school year.
Because they're getting offers from other states, and they're worried about TOPS, and they're starting to read the newspaper to realize that TOPS may go from 22 ACT to 28 ACT.
Louisiana Radio Network.
Once again, you stayed longer and spent more money gambling than you planned. You told yourself it would never happen again, but it has. Now you have to tell your family you lost money gambling.
If you or a family member has a gambling problem, treatment services are available for Louisiana residents at no cost. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call 1-877-770-STOP. That's 1-877-770-STOP. A message from the Louisiana Department of Health and Hospitals Office of Behavioral Health.
How would you describe your workers' comp provider? If words like strong, trusted,
secure
don't come to mind, ask your agent about LCTA Workers' Comp. As a casualty insurance company with over 25 years in business, LCTA provides the financial strength and service support your employees can rely on in case of an injury on the job. So call your agent today and save these words.
LCTA
Workers' Comp. Or visit lctacomp.com.
This is Jeff Cruier with my commentary of the day. So voters have now spoken in 5 more states. Trump winning 3, possibly 4, Kasich winning 1. Now the insiders and the elitists and the establishment plotting to steal the nomination. Trump has won 19 states. Cruz 9, Kasich now 1. The other candidate dropped out. Clearly, Trump is the leader in delegates, votes, and number of states won. While he may not get to the magic number of delegates to secure the nomination, he'll roll into the convention with a big lead. It would be an abomination to deprive him of the nomination. It will be thwarting the will of the American people. It will be trickery by the elites to once again install an establishment choice as a nominee. If this occurs, say goodbye to the Republican Party. Say goodbye to the millions of Trump voters. And say hello to President Hillary Clinton. More info on this and the other hot topics of the day, check out Ringside TrumpInPolitics.com.
What do I cherish? Precious moments. Watching Dad read to my little Eric. That's why I'm so grateful I insisted on an eye exam when I noticed him struggling with the words on the page. We found out Dad has age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. Fortunately, the doctor caught it in time for treatment, so Dad can still read. Protect yourself and your loved ones. Call the Foundation Fighting Blindness today at 1-800-BLINDNESS for a free packet on preventing and managing AMD. A cure is in sight.
Alex Jones. I have believed from the very beginning these are real grassroots uprisings all over the Middle East, North Africa. But when the globalists came out and bragged that they were behind El Baradi and others and are trying to take credit for it, clearly they knew that these rebellions were coming, so they triggered it to make sure their people got in. So I think everybody who's been looking at this from different perspectives has been right.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones.
Sunday evenings at 7 on WGSO.
On their own and draws their own conclusions. It's our obligation to ourselves, our families, and our people. Now let's go. First of all, rest in peace, George Carlin and Michael Jackson. Now it's time.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. You're listening to Battle of New Orleans Radio. We're up here having some interesting conversation in the break. Look, we got Caleb and we have Carl online. Go ahead, Caleb. Go ahead and bring Carl back on.
Sure. Obviously, after today's trial proceedings, first of all, Carl, I actually do want to thank you for the work that you're doing. Of course, I know that we obviously you had a interview session with us after the trial today, and my video is uploaded. People can check it out on Battle Nola Radio. I know you'll be uploading yours as soon as you can, of course. But at any rate, would you like to share some more thoughts about what's going on, or I didn't know if Heather or Dee would like to share something at this time.
Well, the girls are, I don't know, maybe Dee would want to share something. But look, the bottom line is this: this is a huge, huge case, and this is a precedent setter if they are allowed to get away with it. But this comes down from the DOJ. DOJ put their watchdogs, the FBI, on this, and they want to set the precedence so that we have to shut up on the internet. We can't speak anything that goes against them, and that's exactly what this is about. Because what has been uncovered by Thomas is unbelievably devastating to not just West Virginia, but to the corporate nature of the entire country, okay? This union of states, they don't want sovereign to be anything other than a four-letter word, and they don't want the fact that the United States Incorporated, which is located at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and the United States of America Incorporated, which is located at 1500 Pennsylvania Avenue, are real corporate leaders in this whole endeavor. And they branch out to the states, and the states branch out to the counties, and the counties branch out to the cities. It is one huge web. Thomas has uncovered all of it as it applies to West Virginia. And now he gets the chance to make sure that it gets its day in court. And this has never happened before. And he's got a shot to win this thing right out. But the bravery that this man has shown in putting up with what he has had to put up with in order to get this to this point is incredible. The guy's a genius when it comes to this.
Yes, it's amazing because that's what this information needs to be put out there. People need to understand these court systems and stop believing what they think is right. But no, there's paperwork to prove that, no, this is all a sham, and for him to bring that out and make a court case, then other people can use that court case in other battles. And that's the great thing about it.
Precedence setting. We can use that to our advantage for a change. So, gentlemen, ladies out there, you want to keep Thomas David, House of Deegan, in your prayers tonight. Send all of the energy that you can his way because he's going to need every bit of it. Tomorrow is going to see him getting his shot at these rogue agents that they call themselves prosecuting attorneys. And with that, I want to turn this over now to Dee, and Dee is going to give you her perspective because she was sitting in on this. So hold on a second. Let me have Dee introduce herself.
Hi, this is Dee Corley.
Hi, Dee.
Welcome to the Battle of New Orleans radio program.
Thank you. Fortitude and genuine, heartfelt commitment is what Thomas is functioning from. And as I sat in that courtroom today and I watched the faces of the jurors, I saw a few different things. There was a little bit of stoic, kind of poker face going on there, but then there was some people that were riveted to the video and the audio. The video was a little bit shocking to them. I guess I should say the conference call was a little bit shocking to them. His conversation in that call was rather pointed and committed to action. It was a call for action. But when they got to listening to the interview, they began to really get an understanding of what the history, where this came from in our country's history, and what the mission has been. And when Iceland was brought up, and that we could do the same thing that Iceland did if we would just all stand up and do it, because the documents have already been created, they began to change. There was horror on some faces, but then there was real interest on other faces. Many of them were shocked to make discoveries of things that they didn't know.
Yeah, because a lot of them don't understand this themselves. You know, they never really research or know. They just doing what they was told in attorney school. You know, and they just doing what they was told to do. You know, when this happens, we do this, you know, and once you throw up, bring more information, they don't have no clue in that court system when you start using their own system to beat their own system.
Yes. So I think, in all honesty, this is turning on its head for our benefit. I think what we're going to see here is Thomas take this bull by the horns tomorrow and guide these jurors to a clearer understanding rather than to what the prosecution was trying to get them to see, because it's all about perspective.
Exactly.
If you're looking at it from the perspective of corporate control, then you could see some terrorist actions. But if you're looking at it from the view of Americans wanting their rights back, because many, many people have had violations, and some of those people sitting in that courtroom, in that jury, may even at some point have experienced their own.
Yep, felt the same way, and that's your peers. You know, you want to be brought in front of your peers who have been there like you, and let them judge you. Let my peers judge me.
Yes.
And that's the one thing we have to do is, we need to start, standing jury. We need to start accepting, some of these jury duties. So many people want to get out of jury duty. We need to start wanting to go to jury duty and really get involved because we can really have an effect there, from stopping people getting their rights violated.
Well, also, let's take a look at what's going on here in this courtroom. This is being live streamed, WTAB television. It's going to be on Facebook. It was live streamed yesterday. It's live streamed tomorrow, and so this can get out there. Not only are these jurors going to go home and they're going to do their own research after this court case is over, because this is waking them up, but they're going to tell other people, and other people are going to see it as it's live streamed and as it's put on websites and talked about. This is setting precedents if he wins this case, and I got a good feeling he just might.
Awesome. That's lead by example. You know, we just need one person to change it. You know, one person to expose it. You know, so they can see the corrupt in the court system.
Where's a good place for people to go to really get the backdrop and all the information on Thomas's case, and where can they go to, find out some information?
Caleb's been doing a great job on the Daily Resistance, .com with all the information. And that's why I've been keeping up with the information on the Daily Resistance, and just seeing information. And he's been doing his homework, and it's great what he's doing. And he's just taking a chance and getting out there for the people, not for himself, but for the people.
Yeah, we appreciate your work for sure, Caleb.
Well, really, the best website to go. Yeah, go ahead, Dee.
Coverage is also at hudoc.info.
Yes. That would actually be the most exhaustive.
Yeah, we had Hudoc on here a couple weeks ago. Yeah, great guy.
So he's already uploaded information on this.
Awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely share information on our networks to get this information out, the live feed, so people can see what happens in these courtrooms. And when you go in there educated, you can fight them. But you go in that courtroom not knowing nothing, they're gonna beat you every time.
We're coming to a break. We really appreciate y'all having y'all on, and we want to get y'all back on. Maybe next week or the week after to really clarify and really go through the whole case, if y'all don't mind. We really appreciate y'all's hard work and effort. And Carl, thank you for putting yourself in the line and taking that chance and getting arrested. We appreciate your work. Thank y'all.
Fight strong.
No problem.
Ooh-wee. Hey, David, that smell good. What you eating on?
Man, I'm eating on some shrimp I got from J&N Big Easy Seafood.
Man, I had to get me some of that.
Yeah, bro, they specialize in the delivery, catering of 20 pounds or more boiled or live shrimp, crawfish, catfish, crabs, frog legs, and much more.
And how do I get in touch with J&N's Big Easy Seafood?
Just call them up. Call 985-640-8822. That's 985-640-8822.
For all your residential, commercial, construction, and contracting needs, call Eric with E.J. Milligan Construction. They are your complete one-stop construction company. From large commercial, residential projects, new builds, and additions, E.J. Milligan Construction has you covered from the dirt to the doors. So please, call Eric at 985-690-6468. That's 985-690-6468. Or you can visit them on the web at ejmilliganconstruction.com. Whether you're in the real estate market to buy, sell, lease, or looking for someone just to manage your properties, look no further than Paula Bourne with Plantation Properties. She has 34 years experience and is an expert of all of the latest programs available to homeowners. She has been my trusted realtor for years now. So please call Paula Bourne with Plantation Properties at 504-858-9293. That's 504-858-9293. Renovation's your way. They renovate to fit your needs with complete customer service from start to finish that goes way beyond the job. With over 20 years experience, and they are fully insured, and they support the Battle of New Orleans Radio to unite the metro area in the fight for liberty.
Visit us on the web at renovationsyourway.com or call me, Daniel, at 985-402-5916. That's 985-402-5916. renovationsyourway.com. Mention you heard about us on Battle of New Orleans Radio and receive a 10% discount.
Does your house have a clogged up toilet, faulty electrical wires, or AC or heater just isn't blowing properly? Well, call Herman with Superior AC, Electrical, and Plumbing at 985-781-0418. Also specializes in new construction and covers the whole New Orleans metro area. So please, call our friend Herman with Superior AC, Electrical, and Plumbing at 985-781-0418. That's 985-781-0418.
Enjoy fresh fruit grown in your yard. JohnnyAppleseedTrees.com delivers and installs fruit trees and fruiting vines to your home or condo. Proudly serving Kenner, Metairie, and New Orleans. Apples, apricots, blackberries, citrus, figs, grapes, peaches, pears, persimmons, plums, and raspberries. All the trees and fruiting vines are grown right here in South Louisiana. Check out the Fruit Tree Guide for more information and visit JohnnyAppleseedTrees.com today. It's a great time to plant. JohnnyAppleseedTrees.com.
Are you hungry? How about trying this? shudder from the sound. The death machine ain't slowing down. It's gaining pound for pound.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. You're listening to Battle of New Orleans Radio. Look, before we do anything else, I want to give a shout out to our supporter in New Jersey. We got Jen Weldon. That's right, Miss Jen Weldon, who's been supporting us, and I'm looking forward for her to start contributing as far as reporting, and you know, she wanted to discuss GMOs and likes talking about health. So I'm looking forward to that. Maybe she'll call in and we could talk to her. So we really appreciate your support, Jen, and please spread the word to all your other people in New Jersey. So we really appreciate that. We appreciate our sponsors out there as well. Go ahead, Dan.
Anybody out there that's listening to us, you know, that follows, we need help. We need help with this show. Me, Nathan, go on. We cost us a bit on this radio. We're trying to get the information out more. We need a little support. You know, go to the Battle of New Orleans page. You know, donate or just spread the word. You know, we need help here to keep fighting this battle.
Yeah, that's right. If you got a business, you want to buy a commercial, look, call me up, 985-640-8822, and guess what? We'll make you, produce you a good commercial with a great rate. And look, you know, because there's not, especially in the New Orleans area, this is it. This is your only show that really hits these types of topics and really goes after the quote-unquote New World Order paradigm here. So, look, we need your help. But anyway, go ahead. Look, we got a caller on line 3, Danny. We got one of our favorite callers. We got Phil the Patriot. How you doing, my brother?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm greatly blessed, and I wish the same for everybody out there. But if you want to keep your blessings, you better listen up to me really, really close. I agree with what you were saying just now. People out there, you need to donate money and help this radio show stay on the air. Because I'll tell you what, I like a lot of radio shows. I like Kathleen Benfield's show. I like Jeff Coureur's show. I like William Wallace's show, and I like this show. As a matter of fact, I like this show the most. Okay, the very, very, very most, because they are telling you the truth about exactly what's going on right now. Brothers and sisters, we are being attacked. We're being cooked like a frog. Slowly. All of the things you see on TV happening to Donald Trump, those are actually low-level terrorist attacks, and they are being funded by George Soros and MoveOn.org. As a matter of fact, another reason why I want to tell you the best show on radio is there are 6.66 people out there, because one of them has exactly 2/3 of a brain, that call all the other radio shows and try to discredit your radio show. The head of the snake is a guy called the Blaming Fibril. He's the one that has 0.666 of a brain. The other 6 of them call radio shows and they say bad stuff about y'all, like y'all a bunch of gun nuts, and that y'all are crazy, and that y'all need to go to jail and all this.
Hey, it's okay. Let them talk about us. Let them, you know, that's what we're here for, to cause a stir, to get people asking questions, to ask questions. That's what we're here for.
Now let me give y'all some more solutions, brothers and sisters. Listen up real close. I want you to stock up on bullets and beads and scripture. There was a reason why they assassinated and brutally murdered the Supreme Court Judge Scalia. That's why you see Barack Obama scrambling to, or should I say Brokey-Dopes Obama, scrambling right now to get somebody in there so he can either embarrass Republicans or get somebody in there to come after your guns, you, and your children, and your whole land, America. They want to change everything into, a place that's under communist and Sharia law. And brothers and sisters, they always accuse the Battle of New Orleans and others out there of being racist. Brothers and sisters, I know what racism is. I grew up with red hair. They started picking on me in second grade. They used to say, I'd rather be dead than red on the head. Well, I started taking the martial art back then, and I started kicking some butt, too, because I got tired of people kicking my butt and attacking me, all right? And I'll tell you another reason why I know what racism is. About 20 years ago, I went to work for a Vietnamese fella. It was the best man I ever worked for at a pizza company. And back then, you could work for more than one pizza company without getting in trouble. It's not like that anymore. And I'll tell you what happened. The Vietnamese man sold the place to a Muslim. Not a black Muslim, a regular Muslim. And within months, he found out that I was telling everybody, have a great and blessed day. And you know what he started doing? He started harassing me, and he wrote out a set of instructions that I would be fired if I ever said have a blessed day again. And you know what? They started cutting my hours, and then they did fire me. There's one thing I want to say out there to everybody. Have a blessed day. Yeah!
Thanks, Phil. We always enjoy your call. Always full of energy. We really appreciate it out there. You know.
But yeah, we had this little crisis with these recent floods. Anybody that needs assistance, there's concerned citizens of St. Tammany Parish. Look them up on Facebook and everything, and they helping people out in this time of need. And that's what we're doing. Just community reaching out to the community. People helping people. We don't need the government. We don't need FEMA. Let's help each other. Reach out and help somebody.
And I want to thank my friend and realtor. And if y'all need a realtor. Who's very informative, and she called Paula Bourne of Plantation Properties. She owns North Shore Mini Storage, and she's part of a Concerned Citizens. So look, she's a great person. So if y'all need a realtor, look, hit her up.
Great human. She has open doors for us to store stuff. She is a big part of this, this disaster relief program. And if you need a household or bought, she's the one to talk to.
That's right. We appreciate you, Miss Paula. We love you, and thank you for all your help and support. What else we got, Danny? What else you want to talk in the last couple of minutes?
Well, April 9th, Mobile, Alabama. We put another Awaken the Mind event on Mobile, Alabama. April 9th, anybody want to attend that? We're going to have the same lineup with PTP, The Voice, and The Truth Seeker. So, another event trying to educate people, to, spread knowledge with music.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's fantastic. Yeah, I'll definitely be there. So look, get at us if y'all want to come hang out in Mobile. Meet the Battle of New Orleans crew. Look, come on, man. Maybe Goy may even show up.
Yeah, we'll get Goy to show up on this one. What other we got? Tinker Elves, a nonprofit that we're part of. We're going to put a kickball tournament together soon. What we do is, collect toys and bikes and old used items and recycle it, fix it, clean it up, put some elbow grease and give it back to kids for Christmas. We're going to be doing another fundraiser kickball tournament soon, to get that jump back off, started off. We was able to help 360 kids in the Slidell area last year, just with one kid's trash is another kid's treasure.
That's right, and great job with that, Danny. Caleb, you still there?
Yes. Yeah,
what you got, Caleb? You got the end remarks.
Sure, yeah. Well, in case people haven't actually seen it yet, obviously martial arts action star from the Jean-Claude Van Damme, of course, was on a French TV show a couple days ago. And he goes off on this rant about the New World Order, about the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. Yep. And, of course, he apparently is a fan of Donald Trump, and I guess there's nothing wrong with that, of course. He was basically saying of how the Rothschilds and Rockefeller, they're going to basically prevent Trump from winning the presidency. And he goes off on the history of the Rothschild family, how they began back in the 19th century. But at any rate, if people haven't actually seen that yet, it's a very powerful video. It's nice to see even celebrities waking up and help to get the message out. So
that's awesome. That's what I was telling somebody today. First thing you awaken, go research the Rothschilds family and the Rockefeller family, and just start from there. And it will open up so many doors and see how this system works. And it's great that Van Damme is coming out with this information, and other big, we need more, Hollywood people to come out and expose this stuff.
No doubt. Look, I want to promo a guest. I'm doing a pre-recorded interview for next week. Francis Boyle, who actually wrote the bio warfare programs for the United States. He came out and has been saying that the Zika virus is being caused by genetically engineered mosquitoes they released in Brazil. So we're gonna discuss that. And now they're releasing genetically engineered mosquitoes into the Keys. This is all part of that technocracy that Patrick Wood was talking about. Look, global government isn't coming; it's here, and it's showing its head in various forms. So, ladies and gentlemen, look, we appreciate all the listeners out there. It's Battle of New Orleans Radio. Go ahead, Danny.
I was just saying with all this, all this presidential stuff, it's a bunch of chaos, and I'm an anarchist, Get all them people, Vote anonymous 2020.
Go look up democide. Government killed 262 million people in the 20th century. All right, I'm out. We'll talk to y'all next week, man. Y'all have a great night.
Thank y'all.
As the corporate media dies, MetroNow.com and TheDailyResistance.com continue to give you a decentralized and independent take on the latest current events as well as historical reference to help you wade through the propaganda of the